Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install these no-drill mud flaps from WeatherTech for the rear of our 2023 Ford F-150. Now these are going to be custom fit for your F-150, and at the rear we can see that particularly well with this small plastic bump out right here. The mud flap will contour around that shape and match up perfectly to the vehicle where it sits. On the inside, the installation, like the name suggests, is going to be no drill. Basically, you don't have to worry about any modifications to your vehicle. And the material is going to be a thermoplastic resin. It's a bit more of a rigid material, but still has some flex to it. And it's going to match all the black plastics on your vehicle really well. Now, with this being a no drill installation, you probably want to see what that install looks like. Luckily, these are really straightforward, and since we have so much room to work inside the wheel well on the rear, it's going to be super straightforward, so follow along and we'll show you how we got these installed. On the inside of the flap, there should be some lettering that says RH or LH, right hand for passenger, left hand for driver. Or, worst case scenario, you can just take the mud flap and line it up inside your wheel well and make sure the contours all line up. For the rear, we just have two push pin fasteners. You can see them poking out the other side inside the wheel well liner here. And these are not going to get reused, so grab yourself a trim tool. Something with like a forked end, flathead screwdriver can work here, but these are pretty tricky, and you might find that you have a little bit of trouble getting them out. But if you mangle them in the process, since they're not getting reused, that's okay. So that bottom one was giving us some trouble. These fins, especially when the clips are brand new, can be really tricky. What I found was squeezing them and just kind of crushing those fins made it a lot easier to pop out the bottom side. You might consider doing that, and especially since they're so easy to reach in that wheel well, it's not too bad. Now on this intersection right here where the mud flap will end up sitting once it's fully installed, your kit's going to come with a small bit of paint protection film. I'm just going to spray off the area with some soapy water, kind of wipe it down, dry it off. Now these will also have a right hand and a left hand side, and just do your best to get this right up to the edge and press it firmly in place. This doesn't need to be super precise. You can get really precise with it if you want, but really, this is just going to be covered up by the mud flap anyway. We just wanted to protect the paint a bit. The mud flap is going to have this small quarter turn lever. Make sure that's flipped down for right now, and line up the mud flap with that wheel well. You're going to take your included Allen key and turn that lever by tightening the screw. You should see a small tab right about there. You want that all the way to the right to know that that lever is fully engaged. And I'm going to tighten this down just a little more so that we can hopefully let go of the flap and it'll hold itself in place so we can get the rest of our hardware in. The newly provided hardware will be a bit hard to see with my hands in the way, but it's essentially a Phillips head screw with a flat washer and a flange nut paired up together, going through the previous locations where those plastic push pin fasteners were. I'll push that bottom one up first and tighten the flange nut up top. And the reason we're doing this first is because once we have that screw poking through the side, it's going to kind of cover that up, so it's going to be pretty much impossible to tighten it. So I'll get it hand tight for now and come back with my tools to fully snug it down. They include a Phillips head bit, so something to hold that bit will be needed. You need to provide that yourself. And the same goes for a wrench or socket. We're using a 7/16 wrench today. And we'll just repeat that process for the hole going through the side, or both holes if our F-150 or your F-150 has that. Now, if you find that the hole isn't lining up super well, you might just find that threading the bolt through works, in which case then we can just carry on by tightening up the rest of the hardware. Once you have that tightened down, just go back through and make sure that nothing feels loose, everything's lined up pretty well, and if you're happy with the fit, you can repeat that process on the other side. But that'll do it for our look at and installation of the rear no-drill mud flaps from WeatherTech on our 2023 Ford F-150. Thanks for watching.